New to CuriosityStream. They're born deaf and blind and take down prey 9 times their size. Social bonds empower a predatory force in wolves' power of the pack. And he's 80 years old and dives 20 fathoms on a single breath. One of the last sea hunters living off his catch. This time, ravaged freediver survives in a modern world. In Jago, A Life Underwater. Watch now on CuriosityStream. Annual plans are just $20. That's just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
I'm Erin Ryan, political commentator, comedy writer, and host of Crooked Media's Hysteria.
And I'm co-host Alyssa Mastromonaco, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President Obama.
Each week on Hysteria, we are joined by a team of hilariously opinionated ladies to discuss the headlines from the serious to the absurd.
We cover everything from reproductive rights to rom-coms and break down the political news of the week and cultural stories that affect women's lives.
New episodes of Hysteria drop every Thursday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Sports Radio 610 Outdoor Show with Captain Mickey Eastman. Captain Mickey has been guiding the Texas Gulf Coast waters for over 30 years and has won numerous national and local tournaments. Now, here's your host, Captain Mickey.
Good morning. Welcome back to the second hour of the Sports Radio 610 Outdoor Show. I'm Captain Mickey Eastman, producing this morning.
Good morning, sickos. This is Shagun.
All right, Shagun, here we go. Round 2.
Hour 2.
All right. You got it, bud. All right, let's get started off with John Littleton from Lake Houston. See what he's up to. Mr. Lake Houston, what's happening?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot, Mickey. How are you today?
Oh, I can't complain. It's all good, my friend.
Yeah. I'm looking at this big old full moon and 48 degrees out here on the patio.
Yep. Nice and cool this morning. A little breezy.
Yeah.
And cool.
Yeah, I'm going to hang out today and probably go up to the deer lease and check some cameras and see where a big one might be walking. Maybe I can kill it this afternoon or tomorrow.
That'd be nice when a plan comes together.
Yeah, I mean, you always got to have a plan. Now, whether it comes together or not, that's different. But, might see.
What area did you tell me you hunted?
Navasota.
Yeah.
Up on the Navasota River bottom.
You ought to have some rutting activity going.
Around, yeah, in between Navasota and Bryan College Station up there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, we've had a few deer up there. We just, I killed that little old spike and, got some meat, and now I'm going to look for a horn, I guess. I don't know. I don't have to kill one, but, you'd like to.
Sure.
But we'll see. Yeah. Well, I've had some pretty good reports this week, Mickey, on the white bass at Lake Houston.
Right.
They're, this time of year, they always start making their way up the creeks and stuff, and, they're starting to catch quite a few, on some little crankbaits and little rattle traps, just anything that's, just something you can throw a long ways and reel it back, basically.
Right.
But, you got to watch a little bit, you get hung up. There's all, in Lake Houston up there, up around the Commons area, up the East Fork, people know where that's at, and hadn't been up the bayou, but I'm sure there is some way up the bayou, but, past 2100 up there, there's usually a couple of those bends that, and, they're a little bit better when you can find some current, something that's got a little bit of break, a little bit of water moving, something like that.
Yeah.
They seem to be, they'll stack up a little bit better. But, you can go up there and, catch you what we call a mess of fish, So, you can catch, and you'll get some mixed bags. One of the guys, he said he had used some minnows, and, he had caught a couple crappie. He caught some black bass. He caught some catfish. but mostly white bass. But I mean, it was a smorgasbord. It had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But they are moving this time of year. They'll get up there, but quite a few little ones. They got to be 10 inches or above. So you got to, if you get some that's pretty close, make sure you got. And that one of the guys I talked to, he said he didn't know what happened to his check-it stick. And, he was having to make sure they were, pretty big before he kept them. So,
Right.
Yeah, you just got to make sure they're legal to keep. But they're seem to be biting. And that's always good to get your line pulled. I might have to try to venture out there one day next week. I'm going to try to go out there and see if I can catch me a few and put a few in the freezer.
Right.
A little bit better for fresh fish.
When those
pretty
white
good.
bass, you clean them, and I know that sometimes they taste a little funny. Is there any other kind of trimming you do to get the taste better on them? Cut some bloodline out, or what?
I don't, Mickey. I mean, I haven't tried it. I know I don't. Whenever I fillet mine, I try to cut them in little smaller pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's just up to you. I think I season mine pretty good. I haven't really ran into that, but some people I do know that they'll say that they taste gamey, I guess, or a little bit fishy, but they're
because I always cut them up in chunks like you're talking about, and then I'll soak them, marinate them in Louisiana hot sauce and mustard, and I don't ever get that taste out of them.
Mustard is the number one go-to for any of that, with fish, even catfish, whatever. You gotta roll them around in that mustard a little bit. People think, wow, what are you doing? But that helps a lot.
It enhances the flavor big time.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And you know what? I'm not a big mustard eater, but you got to do that with fish.
No, I don't like it on my cheeseburger, but I sure like fish, marinated in it.
Yeah, I know it. It does make them taste a little bit better to me. But we'll see. I mean, we're taking off for a week or so, and just it's a good time when you can get outdoors, and the weather looks like we're going to cooperate a little bit. It's, I was expecting a whole bunch of different stuff yesterday, and, I don't think we even got any. I know we didn't get any rain here. And
yeah, that front line just had some little storms along it. It wasn't complete, a whole line of storms on that front line, and I got a pretty good shower and a little bit of lightning at my house when it came through yesterday morning, about 6:30, 6:45.
Yeah. The water's still in pretty good shape out there, I mean, they're still dredging, they're still working, so, you just, I don't know, it's a hit and a miss, you got to find you a little area and fish it, but, it seems like you got to stay on these white bass once they start running like that, because they'll just keep running until they run out of water. But, way up the East Fork there where it splits around the commons, you got Peach Creek, Caney Creek, those little creek arms, that go up, and they go a long ways.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, I can't with my bass boat, but, you'll start seeing some guys up there with little small aluminum boats or even kayaks, and they'll go up there and catch them. But, it's always fun to get up there and do that. And you can, that's a good time when you can bring the kiddos out too, and they don't get bored. They'll catch some fish.
Every cast.
Yeah, they'll get their line pulled, and that gets them wanting them to go back. It's nothing worse than going out there and not catching anything. Then they don't want to go the next time. But and you can catch like I said, you can catch a multiple sack of different kinds of fish, and
Right.
it'll be all right. And it's good eating, so just put my, if y'all go out there and catch some, just put my bass back, because I might need to win a tournament with those.
Just might need those.
Yeah. Put those, pet them and tell them, hey, John will be back for you next year, so just, hang around and bite his line if he comes up this way, so. But that's one of those areas really up that Peach Creek and Caney Creek, when those bass start to spawn, you can catch some good bass up there too, in March and April, they'll get up there in those little old shallow spots. There's still a bunch of cypress trees up there, down the bank, and there's some laydowns and little pockets, and, those bass will get in there and spawn. They're not all out in the main lake, the bass. They're a little bit everywhere. Kind of like an old buck, and during the rut, he's going to travel around.
No doubt.
Those black bass going to travel around too. But I hope this full moon doesn't have them eating too much at night, the deer, but they might be eating a little bit at night with this full moon.
Well, I've seen it affect hunting, and I've seen when it didn't. The bucks usually, those bigger bucks, they're kind of like our fish are, that midday bite, under a full moon. You'll get some good midday activity on those bucks, from about noon to 2 o'clock. When nothing else is out, they'll go to moving around, especially if there's a rut on. The moon doesn't really matter. They'll chase them does all night. They'll be good and tired when they come out, so they'll want to eat some corn, get some energy. Them does will. And that buck's going to set up on her. He'll just come out in the open where he can get a shot at him. Seen that a bunch.
And a lot of time, a lot of those deer, they still won't come to the feeders, but we got some what we call natural walk areas where, around the fence line. We'll throw up a camera, and just see what we can catch, walking down the fence lines. And a lot of times that's where your bigger, deer are at.
They'll leave those
they'll run
areas.
up there and eat they'll run up there and eat a bite, and then they'll walk those natural walk areas.
Sure.
And we got a couple stands that, it's a 150-yard shot, which is, just perfect for us. So, it's still well within range, and you can stay enough away from them that you're not going to, spook them, or they'll catch your scent or something like that. So, but hopefully we can get us one, I'm going to look forward to it. I hadn't been since opening week. So it's only been a couple weeks. I'm getting trigger finger happy again. I got to get out there and see what I can find.
That's all of us. I'm ready to go.
I know.
Go to the brush country or the woods, either one. Doesn't matter to me. Just get away. All right, John. Well, hey, I got to run. If somebody wants to call you, give them a number, man.
Sure, they can call me, 281-222-8544.
All right, bud.
Go catch you some white bass out there at Lake Houston.
Good deal. All right, John. Thanks for the update. You have a good weekend. Good luck hunting.
You too. I'll send you a picture, hopefully.
Please. All right, man.
All right.
All right, take care. All right. That's John Littleton up on Lake Houston. Well, I need to take a moment to tell everybody about the Belleville Meat Market. Since we're talking about deer hunting, there's no finer place to take your wild game than the Belleville Meat Market for all their wild game processing. The Belleville's just a short drive from Sealy on I-10 or Hempstead off 290. And just go downtown, look for the big white sign, pull on in. Their meat market and processing facility are located right next door to one another, owned and operated by the Poffenberger family for 40 years now. And, you know, they do feral hogs, all your wild game, whether it's exotics, white-tailed deer, and they can convert it into great products from their processing facility, whether it's pecan smoked sausage or their award-winning summer sausage, dry sticks, jerky, tamales, burger, you name it, they do it, and the packaging is second to none. Check them out on the web at BellevilleMeatMarket.com, and with Thanksgiving right around the corner, if you want one of their classic pecan smoked turkeys, get it ordered now. They'll ship it right to your door. Call them at 979-865-5782. That's the Belleville Meat Market, where meat is our middle name.
New to Curiosity Stream. They're born deaf and blind and take down prey 9 times their size. Social bonds empower a predatory force in wolves' power of the pack. And he's 80 years old and dives 20 fathoms on a single breath. One of the last sea hunters living off his catch. This time ravaged freediver survives in a modern world. In Jago, A Life Underwater. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are just $20. That's just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Writer Kate Michaels has a new project and an enigmatic new collaborator.
There's been murders in my neighborhood.
Sometimes there's a thin line between fact and fiction.
Who is it? FBI.
Please help. Ma'am, can you give me your address?
Kate Mara and Adam Scott in Ghostwriter, a new one-episode feature-length podcast movie experience from C13 Features.
Ghostwriter is available now on the Odyssey app and wherever you find your podcasts.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alessia Cara.
This was a challenge for me because it felt like I was trying so many things that weren't working. You know, we all have like our toolbox of what works for us, but it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. I focus a lot on my breathing. I do like this thing called 4-7-8, which is where I breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, and release for 8. You know, it makes it super physical so that you're forced to get back into yourself. And that really, really helps me.
Explore more at imlistening.org.
Sports Radio 610 presents The Outdoor Show with Captain Mickey Eastman.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sports Radio 610 Outdoor Show on this Friday morning, 5:19 in the Bayou City. All right, let's go down to Texas City, and let's check in with our good friend, Mr. Dave Fremont, down at Boyd's One Stop on the Texas City Dike. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Captain Mickey.
How are you, man?
I'm doing just fine this morning. Getting here was half the battle. It's kind of windy.
Yeah, it is. I saw you sent me that video of the flags flying at Boyd's. They got a little starch in them this morning, buddy.
I mean, to tell you, they've got some starch in them. That I shot that little clip there to send to you to let you see it. It looks like that wind's going to spin the bearings right out of that flagpole this morning, but that's okay. We need some changes in the weather, and this old drop in the temperature will help something somewhere along the way. Probably won't help too much for the old bait camp businesses. It's going to kind of shut things down in terms of any kind of boating activity and such, but what the heck? It's all going to come out in the wash. It's going to be good.
Heck yeah.
Woke up and stepped outside, and I think up there in League City it was about 52 or so as I was leaving the house, and as I got closer to the coast, it warmed up a couple of degrees. I'm sitting out here by the shrimp boat docks, which aren't no more than about a half a mile or so from the base of the dike once you go over Skyline, and I tried to make it out towards the end of the dike, but the wind kept blowing me back, Mickey, so I decided to just park it right here.
I don't know if there's any brave souls out there on the end today anyway. You never know, though.
I always like to roll out there and see what's happening, even if nothing's happening, just to make it out there to where I can say I did. But
right.
lately, there's been folks out there just about from about Wednesday night, Thursday night on until things shut down for late Sunday afternoon or evening, there's usually some kind of a little group drum redfish tournament or something going on. There's just so many folks out here that take advantage of that end out there to catch some of those big fish, and so they'll have little tournaments going on along with the ones that we'll have, and just something to do and a lot of fun. So I like to go out there and visit with some of those fine folks and see what they're catching. So I might miss that this morning, though. This coffee's tasting mighty good while I'm talking to you, and
it is good this morning. Mine is too, for some reason. Whatever it is, it's in the air, I guess, or the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I made up this little old pot before I left the house, and I swear I think this Yeti cup makes it even hotter. It seems like I can't even get the first couple of sips down. Even now it's so doggone hot, but I'll take that. It's going to be good once it cools down a bit. But as things happen this time of year on the dike, things slow down quite a bit when everybody gets back into school and don't have near the population out here. But it's just been a phenomenal year for bull reds and black drum. We've talked about that almost to death, but just an unbelievable crop of big fish like that's been hanging in the channel and coming around the dike, and so that's been a lot of fun. We're missing our flounder run this year, and I hope them folks that are real smart about all that stuff is doing the right thing. But I'm going to tell you, I cannot believe the amount of fish, the flounder that people are catching and releasing just for the fun of it. It's really unbelievable. And there's, like yesterday, I've got some buddies that fish out at the end of the dike, and they've just been catching some real nice fish. But this time of the year, you should be with the run going on. So we'll see how things pan out. Of course, we know pretty much that this is probably going to be a thing for the future for a while, that they're going to probably run it like this for a while and then do their number crunching, and we'll see what all comes out in the wash. But an unbelievable amount of nice, big, fat female flounder are being caught and looked at and appreciated, and then put back, and hopefully they'll head on out into the Gulf and do their thing, Mickey. I myself haven't.
They'll get through. If the timing on these fronts, I mean, our water temperature isn't getting down anywhere it needs to be for these flounder to do their thing, and they're hanging around. I'm seeing them still way up my way in the upper reaches of the bay system, hearing it from everybody from all areas. And, I mean, they're not even close to falling down. I mean, just think how many are down there right now in the lower end where they normally fall to this time of year, and look at all the upper reaches still full of them. I just really believe we have a lot more flounder than people think we do. I really do.
Not only do I agree with you and believe that, on top of all that, I hope it is. I hope that it is. Sometimes I just think those fish counts just aren't as accurate as what they hope for. But we'll see what happens. But I personally haven't gone out and caught any or tried to catch any, because I just don't want the temptation, Mickey.
I know.
I just if I go out there with some of my buddies, and we're out there catching flounder, if I catch one, he's going to have to hold a gun to my head, and if he catches one, I'm going to have to hold a gun to his head, and it just ain't worth it.
They're making outlaws out of all of us, man. I tell you, it's boy, you're out there trout fishing, you catch a nice 3 or 4 pound doormat like that, and you just go, I cannot believe, mister, you have to throw that back. You can't keep it. What do you mean? I said, it's the law. The law's the law. But
yeah, I was just anyway. Everybody
flounder platter, baby.
And you know me, man. That is my favorite fish for everything. Eating, catching, I'm just so lazy. I'm lazy as a flounder. The same way they eat and I eat the same way. I just lay there until food comes by and I jump on it and eat it. And that's the way the little flounder are too. But they're just so doggone good to eat, and so I'm just going to wait it out. But like you mentioned, there's so many now. We get a good cold snap or two before December the 15th comes around, and we can start fishing for them again. A whole bunch of them will move on out and make it, and that's good. That's the whole idea, the concept behind this. I'll call it a moratorium, but that means a temporary thing, and we don't know what it's going to be. But we'll see what happens in after the middle of December, and I'll bet you, like every year, because I'll run my tournament normally until the last day of December, there'll be some big mamas caught in that last week and a half, 2 weeks of the season.
I guarantee you. You know what's going to be, I can predict right now, December the 15th, you better stay off the water in the Galveston Channel area. There's going to be, it'll look like that clip in Jaws when everybody's going out trying to catch that big shark. Everybody's going to be getting their flounder licks in December 15th. It's going to be phenomenal.
Man, yeah, they're adding concrete to the base of the dike to keep it from breaking off and going out into the Gulf from so much weight being on it from people going out there to fish. But yeah, hopefully it'll. Some folks will be able to get out there and catch a few. It's kind of like the crawfish season. Late in the season, somebody's wanting to get their fix right there at the very end because they know it's coming to an end. And but there'll be a whole lot of people fishing. I hope that it works out for a lot of folks. And then somewhere down the line, maybe the population will increase. As y'all were talking about earlier, redfish have made, if they want to call it a tremendous rebound, a lot of folks have been catching redfish nonstop for many, many years, but they're plentiful in a lot of areas during the right time now. There's just a lot of nice slot redfish in our bay system anyway. So, but anyway, that's the deal. Just another one of these old weekends here out on the dike when the front comes through. Things get nice and quiet, and honestly, I even like that. I like to come out here and just chill out and see what's happening and watch this old water. The surf's up this morning, I'll tell you that. It's well beyond whitecaps.
Well, how about bait availability and seafood and all that at Boyd's? Y'all ready for the weekend crowd? Y'all got enough to go around?
Oh, yes, sir. I think so. We went, I dropped by there just a little while ago when I shot you that video of the bait flags, and Martin's got a good crop of live shrimp and some finger mullet and even some of them mud minnows. And then he's got about every kind of dead bait imaginable out there. So for the folks that want to fish and take advantage of this north wind that's blowing, they can toss that crab or shad or mullet out a country mile if they put the wind to their back there and throw it into the Texas City Channel, and that's what some of them will be doing. And then on on table shrimp, we've got the old 912s and a couple of sizes underneath that. And I didn't look, but by golly, we'll start having some oysters in there if we don't. And I know how much you like those, so we'll have some oysters
getting that time of
as
year,
well.
Man. Yes, sir.
And you're not going to believe this, but Jason he had some orders for some crawfish, and some of these wholesalers say, "Look, we've got customers that want them, and we know they're expensive." And then you tack on the price of gasoline. Now I don't even want to go there, but they are these crawfish that he's got. I think he's going to have maybe about. He might have 10 sacks or so this morning for retail sales, but my goodness, they are pricey. I don't even have a firm price on them yet, but when people want them, they're going to get them. They're out of season. They know it, and they're going to get them. But you never know with Jason. He's out there looking around for something. So I think we'll even have some live Louisiana crawfish this morning, believe it or not.
This cool weather like this makes you want to have a crab boil or a crawfish boil. It just does. Or some fried oysters, an oyster fry. You just never know.
We doggies. Right. Let's do it.
All right, Dave. Well, hey, throw them out a number and everything at Boyd. Somebody wants to call before they come down, or tell them how to get there.
Yeah, put on a sweater and come on out here. 409-945-4001, and we're right there at the base of the dike on the right-hand side when you're coming onto the dike, and 227 Dike Road, and we're on Facebook, all that good stuff. Just about everybody else is, so boys ought to be too. Mickey,
yes,
thank
sir.
you. It's good to be back. I missed you last week.
I know it. I missed you too, buddy. A lot of listeners questioned me about that. I said, no, he's just got something going on. He can't call this morning, but we'll get him next week. All right, man.
Well, I sure appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you, Dave. See you, bud. All right. That's Dave Fremont down at Boyd's One Stop and the Texas City Dike. It's time for a break. You're listening to the Outdoor Show here at Sports Radio 610. We'll be right back.
New to Curiosity Stream, they're born deaf and blind and take down prey 9 times their size. Social bonds empower a predatory force in wolves' power of the pack. And he's 80 years old and dives 20 fathoms on a single breath. One of the last sea hunters living off his catch. This time ravaged freediver survives in a modern world. In Jago, A Life Underwater. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are just $20. That's just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Man, there are a lot of podcasts out there.
Definitely. I mean, there's 3 million shows, 50 million episodes, and more every day.
I mean, who has the time to figure out which ones are the best podcasts?
We do. That's who. What's up, guys? I am Alicia Renee.
And I'm Dax Holt.
And we are your host of Pod Sauce, a podcast discovery show.
Look at us as your podcast concierge.
We do all the work for you. We listen to the shows, review them,
pick the best episodes, and interview the hosts.
Pod Sauce. Let us help you find your next binge. Tell them where to go, Dax.
Go to podsauce.com.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Live from the Twin Peaks studios, Sports Radio 610 presents The Outdoor Show with Captain Mickey Eastman.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sports Radio 610 Outdoor Show on this Friday morning, final segment. Now we're going to go down to G-Town. Let's check in with Captain Steve Hillman, see what he's up to. Stevie, good morning. What's up, man?
Good morning, Mickey. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Just got done talking to my guys for today and pushing them back a few hours. I don't feel like going out and fighting this wind right now.
Little breezy,
I looked
man.
earlier, Justin, like
hey, when I called you
earlier.
last night, man, it was really cranking at my house. I mean, it was blowing harder last night than it did all day. It came up good after dark. That's when you go to bed and the wind's still blowing, that means it's going to be blowing when you get up.
Oh yeah, right after these fronts too, it'll probably blow. I don't know. They're saying it's going to start laying around 11 or so, but I pushed it back to 9. I'll probably have to push it back again. I don't know. What kind of stinks about the deal is the area I'm fishing or planned on fishing this morning, the tide switches around 7:40, a little bit before 8, and that's like right in the middle of the minor feed. And I mean, it's just kind of had a plan, and now you got to change everything. But
well, this old first full moon, maybe you'd be looking towards a good midday to afternoon bite. I've seen that.
Well, and I was looking at all, I was looking at all that, and we do have a major feed for what it's worth from like a little after 11 till almost 1. So we'll see. But I don't know. I like to get out there early and just get going. Sometimes
except when it's like this. Eagle Point, just give you a little update. It's northeast at 22, gusting to 26.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
No, that's a little
no
stiff,
bueno.
Man. Dave Fremont, I talked to him from Boyd's down there earlier. He sent me a video of the flags, the bait flags at Boyd's. They had some starts in them, man. They were
I bet
flapping.
they're about as starts as they could get.
They are.
But I've been getting in most of my days. I haven't had to cancel much at all, really, this entire month. Been real lucky. Only had to cancel a few days.
You know, it has been a good fishing fall. It's been a lot of good weather days to where you didn't have to cancel. It really has.
Yeah, it sure has. But fishing's been decent. We've had a couple of really good days and a few slow days mixed in here and there. But overall, not too bad. Been bouncing around a lot. Everything I'm doing right now, even though the water got warm Like I think when I got off the water day before yesterday, it was 72 degrees, which is kind of crazy for late November.
Mm-hmm.
But even though the water's gotten warm, these fish we're catching, they've been in their fall, what I consider fall areas, fall spots. Each front pushes more in there over the mud and the shell and stuff that we've been doing. And even when it warms up, I guess because these fish have already traveled so far or whatever to get in all these little bio drains and finger reefs and all that, a brief warm up, they're not really leaving the area. They're staying in the area. They're spreading out some. They are spreading out, and they're harder to catch. You got to fan your cast a lot more. You got to cover more water within the area. But then when these fronts hit, those same fish, they tighten up, and then they get easier to catch. And that's what I was kind of planning on this morning. But maybe they'll eat a little bit midday when we get out there. I don't think the water's had that much time the water temperatures had that much time to drop, though. I don't know what it is now, but I would guess it's probably still in the upper 60s.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's 64.4 at Eagle Point this morning.
Okay. Well,
so
it's dropped
cool northeast wind blowing into that point's dropped it. Even up at Morgan's Point, it's down to 66, so it's better than 72.
Well, that's good news for the home team. Maybe these fish will tighten back up. But I've had some good crews. I've had a lot of kids lately. I've had some stud fishermen too. I mean, I had Jim Wilson and Andrew Schaefer, Mark Hooker the other day. You know those guys.
Oh, those guys. With me. You get them close to fish, they're going to catch it.
Oh, yeah. It's just one of those deals. Just add water, man, and they'll make it work.
I love fishing those guys, catch and release, and just,
that's it.
They get it.
Yep.
They get it.
We turned a lot of fish loose that day. Actually, Monday, I had Lance Benson and his girlfriend, Jody, and we did the same thing, just pretty much all catch and release. And when I say pretty much, we just a handful that swallowed
gut
it.
hooks, yeah.
But we released a lot of fish in those 2 days. Those were by far my two best days for size and numbers. We didn't have any huge fish. We had some fish pushing 5, but good fish for these days, and still doing the same thing, just fishing these little reefs, real jagged reefs, and pretty shallow water. The pattern is just, I sound like a broken record, but my pattern hasn't changed for a long, long time. These fish are up on the crests of these little reefs. I don't care what part of the bay you're in. I don't care what bay system you're in. Mm-hmm. They're on the same pattern. And a lot of these areas, we waited some Tuesday, but we caught more out of the boat. But a lot of these areas where you're catching them, where you're casting, is where, say you're drifting, and when you're fishing out of the boat, where you're casting is where you would, if you're wading that area, that's where you would be standing. That's where these fish are. Mm-hmm. They're not off the ledges and stuff like they are like after these fronts. These fish will back off in those deeper pockets and stuff now with this front, temporarily. But so we're still catching more out of the boat, man.
Head to Santa's Hideaway on a magical Christmas cruise on Lake Geneva. Be captivated by brilliant light displays from a climate-controlled fleet en route to Santa's secret hideaway. See Santa from the boat and watch children be amazed as Santa reads the names of those on his nice list. Also stop by the Santa Claus Tree Festival and see specially decorated trees and raffles supporting Santa Claus, benefiting local charities. It all starts November 26th and runs through December 30th. To secure your trip, visit SantaCruzLakeGeneva.com.
Drew and Jonathan Scott here to tell you that with the American Family Insurance Home Quote tool, you can easily design a customized policy for your dream home right from the comfort of your couch.
And fun paint fact, there are over 150 shades of white, like Hello White, Fluffy Bunny, Eggshell.
They get it. Explore the AmFam Home Quote tool at amfam.com/home to learn more about your policy coverage options. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company S.I. and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. Products not available in every state.
Benito's line cook just threw in his kitchen towel.
This order needs to go out right now.
He needs to find help before his customers are left waiting.
So sorry. We'll be right with you. Who's got table 6?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
And we're still catching everything on worms. I can't hardly buy a bite on any hard baits. I mean, I had who did I have? Frank Mastretta and his guys day before yesterday, and it blew real hard out of the south. We didn't do good at all. We only had 5 trout, and I think we had 6 or 7 reds and another 2 or 3 flounder. But Frank threw a hard bait for a long time, man, a twitch bait, and couldn't even get a sniff. And we caught a lot of fish on worms. There's not a lot of keepers. We caught a lot of fish that day, but not a lot of legal fish. But that was really the only slow day I've had in a while. But that was wind related, fishing in warm water.
Right.
Had a couple of goofballs messing with me too, guys in some kind of freaking ski boat motoring all over us. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But we had a lot of things going against us. We had just found a school of fish area. I've been catching at little mouth of a bayou, and these 2 dodo brains pull in there and just motor through everything, leaving a mud trail, and just split those fish up into like 4 little schools, and they wouldn't eat. And then right when it was kind of getting settled back in, and we started catching them again, here they come again. I'm like, God dang, man, let's just go somewhere else. But we were relegated to just a couple of spots because of that wind. It just we couldn't go anywhere. That was Wednesday, that hard south wind. But we're still catching a lot of fish. Most of our fish on the straight tail, on the rat tail bass assassins. Few on Little John. Little John bite has not been that great really, and still going with real light jig heads. I mean, even with Andrew and them the other day, once everybody got switched over to 16th ounce jig heads and rigged up those assassins through the split, we all started catching them pretty good. And then we kind of faded away a little bit on us. This is once we started drifting. I think we caught 6 or 7 wading. That was all we caught wading. And a few flounder. Andrew caught 1 big flounder, it was like 5.5 pounds. And some reds. We caught a lot of reds that day too. I forgot about that. But once we started drifting, it was like pick and peck, 2 to 4 trout adrift with a couple of reds mixed in, and then it just faded, man. The bite just went away, and Jim put on a Texas Roach paddle tail, and he kind of went to work on him, man. He came off the bench and went to work on him. He caught a lot of fish on that paddle tail. Then we all switched over to paddle tails and started catching again. It's just funny how that works, how one little subtle change. And because you're on fish the whole time, but I think what it was, we're throwing those bigger baits, and once those fish had gone through their feed for whatever reason,
they
got
full, and then they keyed on those smaller little snacks.
Exactly. They just wanted that little morsel, and kind of swam across their nose with that vibration from that paddle tail, and then they'd snap at it. So, but that was pretty good stuff that day. But the flounder is just insane. I think I'm up to 27 flounder now for this month. I'm talking about good flounder. I'm not counting the probably dozens of little potato chips we've thrown back.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe it. I've never caught this many big flounder. I really haven't, and I'm not even fishing.
Not while you're
them.
trout fishing. You're not even fishing
no,
for them. You're just catching them by mistake. That tells you how many there are.
No, I'm telling you, and I suck at flounder. If I were to go try
to
catch
I'm hearing
flounder,
that from everybody, Steve. You know, James, I mean, everybody I know that's fishing, they're catching a lot of flounder, and they're not even targeting them. You know, they're just fishing for trout.
I don't know much about – I know a little bit about what I read and everything as far as the fall migration and how the water temperatures affect the spawn, and I know the whole reasoning behind this closure. But I have to wonder if we keep getting these little kind of not really cold fronts, just mild fronts. I just have to wonder how many of these fish are going to make the exodus before December 15th. And
it's not looking
if we
too
don't
good.
get some big, if we don't get some big cold blasts, and I could be wrong, there may be something else that triggers them, maybe amount of daylight hours or something. I don't know, but in my opinion, if we don't get any big cold front, big cold blasts and flushes and big water temperature drops, man, we're catching some of these flounders so far back in the bay and up in the bayous that they've got a long way to go. And if we don't get a big cold front or two, then what's going to happen when December 15th rolls around and the world is out there fishing for them and we get a pretty good front? I just wonder if this whole thing could backfire.
It might.
The whole reasoning behind it could backfire in their face. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing, but anyway, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. But I don't like to kill a bunch of crap, but I do love to eat flounder, and boy, it's been hard to turn back some of these 3 and 4 pound flounder.
I've never met a person in my life that didn't like a flounder.
Oh, I'm telling you. I like them a lot better than trout. Well, I like a lot of fish better than trout. I like redfish better than trout. I like croaker. I like sheephead better than trout.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. Just all on saw plastics, and we did have a good top Lance on Monday. It was real calm water, it was real clear, and he was throwing that bone pearl, straight pearl skitterwalk, and he had a really good topwater bite there for a little bit on Monday. But other than Monday, it's been all tails, and all natural colors like the chicken on a chain, slamming chicken, Texas roach. Monday, that water got clear. I did catch a lot on lime truce rat tail. You know, that water gets clear and that sun's out. I usually go a little bit lighter. But most days we've had enough wind to keep that water kind of, I don't know, a little bit turbid and streaky where you need to go a little bit darker.
Sure.
Yeah, not real dark colors, but just, like I said, kind of intermediate.
I had a guy the other day ask me, he said, man, I always hear you always talk about throwing darker baits. I said, well, look where I fish. You know, it has to do with water clarity and everything.
Exactly.
And,
no doubt.
Plus, it isn't broke. I'm not going to fix it.
No, heck no. But this shell we're fishing, man, some of the stuff's really jagged, and some of the guys are getting hung up on it, me included, because there's a fine line right now for what I'm doing and working stuff too slow and not slow enough. These fish have been in the bottom. Most days they're in the bottom of the water column, and we're hooking some of these clusters of oysters, and they're clusters. You pull them up, and there's spats all the way up to 2.5-inch oysters on them, all live, and that's why those fish are holding there. And they're like towheads. Some of them are what I consider towheads, and it's because they don't get worked. They're not in public harvest areas where when an oyster boat works a reef, it gets real smooth. You get a lot of singles. Yeah. These areas have never been touched by a dredge, so they're growing like stalagmites off the bottom, and they're just in clusters, and they'll jump up and grab a jig head.
Yeah, but, pig ears, what I call them, pig ears.
They are. That's exactly right. They're real sharp-lipped oysters, and they fan out, and they're real jagged. But that all holds a lot of marine life, man. People don't realize how much.
I mean, life on the bottom creates life above it. I mean, you got to have it.
No doubt.
You know, you and I
have
talked about that for years, man. You have got to have the bay floor's got to be alive for it to hold fish. It just does.
No, that's it. And all the better fish are on that shell. You get away from it, and you'll catch fish, but you catch a lot of little ones mixed in. We do have a ton of little fish, dude, everywhere. God almighty.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of 14 7/8, 15 8, which is good to see.
Yeah, we've been saying that for years, so hopefully it'll all materialize and we'll get to where we want to be. But all right, Steve. Well, hey, good luck with your old trip today, man. Hope the wind cooperates for you. You can get some kind of positive outlook at your trip later today. But if somebody wants to call you about fishing this winter, give them a number, man.
All right, man. 409-256-7937.
All right, buddy. Steve, take care. Hope it works out for you today.
We'll make it work.
I know you will.
All right, man.
If anybody can do it, you can. All right, see you, man.
All right, I'll see you.
Okay, take care. All right, that's Captain Steve Hillman. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show, but we'll be back in the morning, 4 a.m., bright and early, Sports Radio 610, KILT Houston.
Head to Santa's Hideaway on a magical Christmas cruise on Lake Geneva. Be captivated by brilliant light displays from a climate-controlled fleet en route to Santa's secret hideaway. See Santa from the boat and watch children be amazed as Santa reads the names of those on his nice list. Also stop by the Santa Claus Tree Festival and see specially decorated trees and raffles supporting Santa Claus, benefiting local charities. It all starts November 26th and runs through December 30th. To secure your trip, visit SantaCruzLakeGeneva.com.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm. But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Excited for a road trip? Start it off right with auto coverage from American Family Insurance. J.D. Power ranked us #1 in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance shopping experience among mid-size insurers. Get a quote at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
For J.D. Power 2021 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.